Okay, joined now by Tommy Barrett. Tommy, second week in a row we stand here. You gave out last week when I incorrectly said the biggest home win of the season, or the biggest win of the season, but tonight the biggest home win of the season and full value for it.
Yeah, we were, Mike. We controlled the majority of it. We controlled the first half actually more than the second half. Even though we scored 4 in the second half, I thought we were fully in control. We probably could have been a couple more up at half time, and there's always a worry when you're only 1-0, you know. But yeah, look, we took our chances very well in the second half.
Who can stop Lee Devitt? Because he had a little bit of a barren spell in April, but into May, back-to-back games now. But the variety of goals tonight, shooting from 18 yards, a little dink over the keeper, he has it all in his locker.
Yeah, look, his finishing has really come on. It's really improved. You know, last year he was, he was getting a lot of those chances, and particularly around the edge of the box, and you know they were going a bit wayward. But he's controlled finishing there now today. But look, he's a good lad. We know that, and he works hard. And he works hard in that stuff every day. And like the dink finish in particular was really, really good. And the first goal was good as well. And obviously the third goal was made by Carl. So he's having a great season. So long may it continue.
There's a smiling Croatian about 10 yards away from us. You got to be pleased for him. He faced a barrage of criticism when he started with the club. People didn't think he was up to it. He looks much more conditioned this year, but he's taken his chance in Mark Byrne's absence tonight, and yet again back-to-back goals now for Tripp.
Yeah, look, he probably got harshly criticised. You know, I think people might think he's older than he is. You know, he's 23 or 20, probably 24 now, because he's such a big man and he's a big presence. But his hold up, his play has improved. You know, I always had confidence in him. He's a good athlete. He's very quick. You know, his link up play there tonight was excellent as well. And I'm delighted for him. And he presses all over the park. So. No, look, it's great for him as well, and he's a great character. He's a great character around the place. He's a good lad, as you said. There's always a smile on his face. He's a happy-go-lucky fella, and he's a good character to have around. And we need a few characters, and we have a few, you know.
Carl chipped in with a goal last week, effective again tonight, but important that the goals come from different areas. And Yo-Yo Maddy's chipped in a bit more now this season. Hasn't played as regularly, but he's starting to find the net more regularly.
He's lot fitter, like, you know. Yo-Yo was coming back from a difficult period, you know. It was he lost his dad 2 years ago, and he was a very good friend with his father, and it had a big impact on him, you know, and the family, because he's a young man that passed away. And you know, his condition wasn't what it should be as a professional footballer, but that was to be expected. These things happen when when in life, you know. And he's got himself back in great condition. He's a very good lad around the place, good player, good experienced player, good attitude, you know, another fella that's it's a good character around the place. And you know, he has that he's just a good guy, you know. He's a gentleman, and you know, another fella we're delighted to have. And you know, you could see there tonight he's got quality. Another fella's probably got a bit of criticism, you know, that probably, you know, look, not too much now either, but there's a bit there, here and there, and you know, we know the qualities he has, and he's a quality finisher. So you know, like, hopefully, you know, he kicks on now and finishes high up the table in the goal scoring chart as far as he can, you know.
Disappointing, the nature of the goal you conceded. Soft because the player evaded 3 or 4 challenges, easily picked out a bottom left finish. It would have been nice to keep a clean sheet, but 9 goals in 2 games, Tommy. I mean, the fans have no excuse not to be turned up and entertained, because that's what people ask for, and you're doing that now. Back-to-back home wins. Bray lost tonight. You spoke last week the importance of clawing somebody back into the race. 7 points isn't insurmountable as 10.
No, it's not. And you know, look, you said it there, Mike, 9 goals. I thought after winning 4-0 last week we would get a better crowd. You know, I don't know, you know, what more else the boys can do. You know, the Blue Army lads are out there obviously, and they're obviously in force, and there's a few hundred regulars as well. You know, that we've got 500 in fairness regulars all the time, but we need to build that fan base. And you know, there's good football being played. We've got some good young players. Look, there's going to be ups and downs, we know that, but we certainly need to grow that fan base. And I was a bit disappointed that the lads didn't get more of a crowd here tonight, because, you know, in a game that, you know, we were bouncing from last week, and it's always good to get a bigger crowd. But look, we'll play with what we have in front of us, and that's all you can do.
we won't get into it, but there was a cup final in Jackman Park. There was the climax of the Desmond League tonight with a lot of teams in contention for winning it and the relegation battle. You also had a plethora of underage cup finals. It's not ideal when there isn't the joined up thinking, but look, tomorrow is a huge game in Turner's Cross. You've won an FAI Junior Cup with Fairview Rangers. I'm sure you want to wish them all the very best and keep Limerick soccer healthy.
Yeah, I won 4 of them. But
And scored in the final.
But yeah, look, it's of course. Look, we wish Paul and Mick and all the lads, Derek and his committee up there, the best of luck and all the players. I managed some of those lads with Limerick, as well. So, some great lads there, and managed some underage that they have as well. So, look, we wish them all the best. They've won every final that they've been in. Sometimes that can add a bit of pressure, but they have enough experience, I think, with the likes of Dougie, Kavanagh, Judgy, and then there's some very good young players. It mixed in with those, like Brian Ahern has done really well with them this year, and I know Absy's done well up front, and the
Oleg in particular.
Oleg has done very well, and the boys at the back, Jason Cross and the young lad from Newport, his name escapes me.
Jake Dillon,
that's him. Yeah. So Jake with underage in Limerick, but he's a very good right back, centre back as well. So they've got threats all over the park, and even in their squad, they've young Blake Curran and the likes of that. And I know Gaga's young fella Josh has done very well. Josh McCarthy, the keeper, is very good. So we know they have quality all over the park. So and Cian McNamara is a really good player, like Cian as well. So they've got good athletes, and they've got that good mix of experience. And the likes of Judgy, and as I said, Judgy, Dougie and Kavanagh have got that experience, and I think that'll help them on Saturday tomorrow, because it's going to be tough, like the Paul Murphy there for them. I'm sure he's still able to play. He's a really good footballer, he is, and he's one to watch, and really clever footballer, and I'm sure they have a lot of good players as well. They usually do. So, but look, I think Fairview, hopefully, if they can keep it tight, and they have a threat on the counter attack in particular, I think.
Finally, to wrap up a very positive week, because you've picked up the points tonight, you've gained ground on a couple of teams above you. Importantly, the long-term lease. You're banging on about facilities in these interviews for years. The reality is now there's something to build, develop and rejuvenate senior soccer, because Treaty's hands are on this now, and I'm sure you have ideas about how to progress it, but the important thing is it's now in the club's own hands. Yeah,
and we have to make the most of it. It's important now that we kick on. It's a good facility, and we're delighted to have it, and we just have to create our own identity now, and start putting our own stamp in it, and using it to our advantage, and make it our own, make it one for the future. And look, it's a fantastic piece of work by Ciara and our team, and Mary and the rest of the board, and the previous board before that. We're in discussions as well. So, but for Ciara to get it over the line, we said from the start, it's to build an infrastructure and build a club, and that's what we're looking to do. And I think credit where credit's due. Ciara has done that with our team and the board, and we're delighted, and I'm personally delighted, because we haven't seen it in you're around a long time, Mike. You played with it as well and seen it. You're a senior soccer supporter and a soccer supporter in the region, as am I, junior and senior. But this is fantastic for us, and I can't emphasise how much it means to the club, and to put our own stamp in, and just even having that sense of identity. Having our own pictures on the wall, and the players on the wall, and making it feel like it's their own. I think that's vital, and hopefully we can make improvements. LEDP have done a great job, Niall, George and all the team, in bringing it this far, and hopefully we can take over and make it better.